Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So we are discussing from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Last time we completed 16th chapter. So far, the discussion is going on between Maitreya and Vidura in this third canto. And Maitreya described so many things in response to the questions asked by Vidurji. And in the 14th chapter, he asked, in 13th chapter, he had described that Swayambhu Manu appeared from the body of Brahma along with Shatrupa. And then Swayambhu Manu asked, please give me a place so that I can put all the living entities because the earth is not there. So then Brahmaji thinks, what happened to this earth? How did the earth go underwater? At that time, Varahadev appeared from the nostrils of Brahmaji and took Mother Earth out of the water, out of Garbhodak ocean. In response to this, Vidur, he asks Maitreya, please tell me about Varaha avatar in detail. And then Maitreya Muni starts the description of the background history of appearance of Varahadev. And to describe that, first he describes about Hiranyaksha. To kill Hiranyaksha, Lord appeared as Varaha. So then he describes the story how Diti approaches Kashyapa at a wrong time, and in response to that, these two demons were born. And when these two demons, they were in the womb of Diti, the entire universe started getting covered with darkness. All the devatas, they went to Brahmaji to ask about the reason of this darkness. And then Brahmaji tells the whole story of the Jai Vijay being cursed by 4 Kumaras. And till 16th chapter, he was describing the story about how Jai Vijay, they were cursed by 4 Kumaras, and then Lord Vishnu came out, he pacified all of them, and then Jai Vijay departed. Lord told, 4 Kumaras departed, and then Lord told Jai Vijay, please don't fear. Very soon after 3 births, you'll be back. And then Brahmaji says, these two doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, they are now in the womb of Diti. And that's why the entire universe is getting covered with darkness. And I cannot do anything to remedy this situation, to solve this situation. Only Supreme Lord will come to our rescue. So that was the 16th chapter. Now, the 17th chapter. Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. So Maitreya Muni, he continues the description. So after Devatas, they heard from Brahma that do not fear. Lord will appear. Lord will come and save us. So hearing this, Devatas, they became free from all the fear and they went back to Swarga. So Prabhupada many times writes in many purports that fear is the most prominent emotion in this world. Whatever a person does in this world is to mitigate the fear. All the industries are running to solve this problem of fear. Food industry is running to mitigate the fear of hunger. Medicine industry is running to mitigate the fear of disease. Cosmetic industry is running to mitigate the fear of old age. So Bhagavatam says, Bhayam dvitiya abhiniveshatah syad ishadapetasya viparyaya asmriti. When we forget the Supreme Lord, then we become overwhelmed by this emotion of fear. And there is only one way to come out of this fear, when we take shelter of the Lord and His instructions. And as we realize that this material world is temporary, and if we take shelter of the Lord by the process of devotional service, then there is no need to fear. In this material world, everything keeps changing, and this change creates fear. The more things change in this world, the more we have to catch hold of those things which do not change. When there is storm and a very strong wind is blowing, people want to catch hold of something which is strong, steady. So when the winds of material problems, they are blowing, we have to catch hold of things which are very strongly rooted, which have a strong foundation, and that is the process of devotional service in this world. That's the shelter of the devotees. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, nice purport Prabhupada writes, the difference between the Devatas and the ordinary human beings is that Devatas approach authority, and the inhabitants of earth, many times they defy authority. Humans, they don't want to take shelter of the supreme authority of the Lord. But Devatas, whenever there is problem, they have only one shelter, Lord Vishnu. And therefore, Prabhupada writes, if people approach authority, then the situation, any adverse situation can be rectified. And then he gives example of Arjun. He was so very stressed, so very bewildered, and he approached the supreme authority, Krishna. And as a result of that, his problem was solved. So Prabhupada writes, the conclusive instruction of this whole incident of Devatas approaching Brahma, what is the conclusive instruction? Whenever we are disturbed in any situation, if we approach authority who can explain the matter properly, then our problem will be solved. So that is the ultimate conclusion of this pastime. Whenever there is some problem, material problem, please find a person who is giving us spiritual solutions, because there are many people who can give us material solutions. But the problem is, material solutions don't last. They help us for some time, but again, another problem comes. So therefore, a spiritual authority is very, very important. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that Devatas, they gave up worrying because they had faith that Lord would come to handle the situation. That faith is the underlying foundation of process of bhakti. Otherwise, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Agyascha, Ashraddhadhanascha, Samshayatma, Vinashyati. If you are ignorant, faithless, and doubting soul, then you will be destroyed. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirena digacchati. So Shraddhavan labhate jnana. If a person has faith, then he will get knowledge. So therefore, to the extent one feels himself to be the doer, I am the doer, I am controller, to that extent he is in anxiety. And the more one depends on the Lord, the more he will be free of this anxiety. Because whatever he does, he depends on the Lord. And whatever anxiety he has, it brings that person close to Lord. Because whatever he is doing for the service of Lord only. So that is the understanding of this whole pastime. Approach a spiritual authority. The word diti, so diti means to cut or to divide. That means Diti had a differentiated consciousness. That means she was thinking, I will make her own plan. I will make my own plans. I don't want to depend on the Lord's plan. I will make my own plan. And the result is 2 demons were born. And Aditi means that personality who has made Lord's will as her plan. And the result was she gave birth to Devatas. So that is the difference between a person who has Krishna in his center or a person who has his own sense gratification in his center. So this lady, Diti, she was very apprehensive because Kashyapa Muni told that your 2 sons will give trouble to the Devatas. So what she did, she kept her pregnancy for 100 full years. Why? She was thinking that at least my sons are safe when they are in my womb. Because once they are born, they'll be killed by Lord Vishnu. And also she was thinking about the Devatas. Because her sons would be the cause of trouble of the trouble to the Devatas. So therefore she was thinking, well, I will avoid the trouble of the Devatas also. And that's how sadhaka is also many times. Diti, she was concerned about the Devatas and she was not giving birth to children. But after Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu was killed by Devatas, by Vishnu basically, but she held Devatas responsible for it. Indra is responsible. And so she started planning how to kill Indra. So a devotee sometimes is very interested in serving Lord and sometimes not so interested. In the process of bhakti, there are various stages in the Anishtita Bhajan. Anishtita Bhajan means unsteady devotional service. So what is this unsteady devotional service? It has 6 stages. First is Utsahamai, sudden enthusiasm. When new people, they start coming to temple, they start getting connected, they have unlimited enthusiasm. जो सेवा बोलना है बोलो, हम करेंगे, कुछ भी बोलो. And some days they are completely missing, not to be seen only. Phone भी नहीं उठा रहे. That is called as Utsahamai. And then second stage is Ghana Tarala. Sometimes they are very enthusiastic, sometimes they are very lethargic. And then the third stage comes of Vyudha Vikalpa. So Vyudha Vikalpa means now he is becoming more and more interested in bhakti. He starts chanting. Then he starts thinking, should I continue my attachments to my family or should I get more attached to Krishna? Vyudha Vikalpa. He is not able to decide. Then by the process of chanting, he becomes more purified. Then he comes to the 4th stage of Vishaya Sangar. Vishaya Sangar means externally he has understood that sense gratification is not good. But internally there is a struggle for sense gratification. The desire for sense gratification is still there. He cannot give it up. And sometimes he falls down. Sometimes he engages in sense gratification. And then he repents. Oh, why did I do that? why I didn't follow the rules and regulations. That is going on. Vishaya Sangar. Then after further practice of Krishna consciousness, he becomes more and more purified. And then now he is no more attracted to sense gratification. He understands the principle of bhakti very nicely. And he comes to the fifth stage of niyamakshama. So at this stage of niyamakshama, what happens is this person, this devotee, he is not able to increase his commitment for devotional service. Many of us must have done it. वो अभी कार्तिक आ रहा है, हम लोग और थोड़ा भक्ति अपना स्टैंडर्ड्स बढ़ाएंगे, ज्यादा चैंटिंग करेंगे और ज्यादा भागवतम सुनेंगे और whatever. But it doesn't stay for long. Some days we are able to do, and some days we think, अरे अभी मुश्किल है. We are not able to increase the standards of devotional service, niyamakshama. But then after few years of practicing Krishna consciousness, one even crosses that stage of niyamakshama. Now he is a very steady devotee. He is known to be a person who is a very, very pakka in Krishna consciousness. Then the sixth stage comes. That is called as Taranga Rangini. Taranga Rangini means at this stage, the devotee becomes full of wonderful qualities. And naturally, when somebody is very senior, full of qualities, then what attracts? What is, this person becomes very attractive. And people, they glorify him. Oh, he's such a wonderful devotee. He's preaching so much. He's doing so many services. He's such a humble, gentle soul. Then what happens? Taranga Rangini comes. The waves of pride, waves of wealth, adoration, distinction, followers. So that's how the devotee passes through various stages in the process of Anishtita Bhajan. So Diti, she is caught up between the affection towards her sons and affection for the world. She was thinking about the devatas and then she was thinking about the sons. So therefore, many times devotees also get caught up between the service to the Lord and service or welfare of the relatives. All the relatives are saying all these things. Should I, take out time to serve my relatives or should I serve the Lord? So in devotional service, one should not go by feelings. Because many times our mind will say, abhi acha lag raha hai. Sometimes mind will say, abhi nahi acha lag raha hai. I don't like to practice. Sometimes mind will say, okay, it is good. But whether one likes or not, one should continue the service. So therefore, Diti, she is not able to, come out of this affection of her sons. So ultimately, she was thinking, I'll postpone the problem. But you can't postpone any problem eternally. It will come. So Diti, she tried to postpone the problem for 100 years. But then ultimately, she had to give birth. And then when she gave birth to these two children, they were not ordinary children. They were demons. All the natural disturbances started appearing. And these people, these two demons, they were very, very powerful, fearful, and they were very, very wonderful. And all these, when these two demons appeared, heavenly planets, earthly planets, and everything in between, everywhere disturbances were seen. So this is very, very interesting. Nowadays, environmental disturbances are so common. We can expect any season, anytime. In the rainy season also, we can expect summer. In summer season also, we can expect rains. Earlier, it was not the case. But the more people, they go away from dharmic life, religious life, the more they disturb the nature's cycle. So that's the difference between a Devata taking birth or a demon taking birth. So when Krishna appears, it is described in 10th canto, and wherever, whenever Vamanadev appeared or Prithu Maharaj appeared, whenever Lord appears, time becomes auspicious. Everything becomes auspicious. All the planets, they align themselves in auspicious positions. The nature becomes very, very nice. Rivers become crystal clear, and the tree becomes full of fruits, and everything is very wonderful. So Krishna's appearance brings a mood of joy. Krishna's appearance brings a mood of cooperation. But when demons appear, people start quarreling, people start fighting. The nature starts showing all the different inauspicious signs. They say it is observed that every person has an aura around him. And it is a natural experience when you come in close proximity with somebody. Sometimes you feel very calm, peaceful, and sometimes you feel irritated, agitated. Just like one time devotees were having some debate, and they were arguing, and then they went to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was chanting. So they sat in room of Prabhupada, and they were waiting when Prabhupada will open his eyes and will talk to him. Just by hearing the chanting of Prabhupada, they thought, now we are not so much disturbed by all those argument and debate, and they just offered their obeisances and left. So that is the power of a positive person, a person who has Krishna in his mind. But generally, aura of a person extends to 1 or 2 feet. But these demons, they were so powerful, their aura was spreading all over the universe, and it was disturbing entire universe. So Maitreya Muni describes so many disturbances started happening. It seemed that all the directions, they were blazing like fire. Earth started shaking, and there were comets and thunderbolts, they were appearing, and the wind was blowing very harshly, and trees were getting uprooted, and there were storms and clouds. Prabhupada writes, very interesting. He says there are many countries on the globe currently also where all these disturbances are present. So that means we can understand these places are inhabited by demoniac people. Fortunately, Prabhupada doesn't take the names of any place, So then so many problems started appearing. Dense clouds, they covered all the stars, and nothing was seen. Oceans started becoming full of waves, and as if ocean was wailing. Rivers and lakes, they became agitated. Eclipses, they are not considered so auspicious. Now Surya Grahan is coming, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, they are not so auspicious. So all these eclipses, they became more and more frequent. And there were thunders in the sky without cloud. Cloud is not there, but still thundering is going on. Jackals, they started howling. And dogs, with their heads raised, they were also barking and making sounds, howls. Asses started running hither and thither, and they were braying very loudly. Prabhupada writes a very funny thing. He says, asses also feel very respectable as a race. They also feel themselves very respectable. And when they run in flocks hither and thither, it is understood that it is a bad sign for the human society. So asses started running. And these asses were braying so loudly that the birds, they became fearful. They were running everywhere. Cows started passing urine and stool, and it seemed that deities in the temple started shedding tears. So all these inauspicious signs appeared. In the sky, inauspicious planets were seen. Mars, Saturn, these are all inauspicious planets. They are more bright than the auspicious planets like Jupiter, Mercury. All these are auspicious planets. So therefore, all these things, they started appearing. And then as a result of this, entire universe started becoming disturbed. Everybody was thinking, what is happening now? And then these two brothers, they started growing up. And when they grew up, they didn't grow up like ordinary children. Immediately they grew and they became as big as mountains, very strong. They had a steel body. And seeing them, everyone became afraid apart from four Kumaras, because they knew who are these two people. Everybody else was thinking that now destruction is about to come. Abhi pralay hone wala hai. That's why all these, inauspicious omens are coming. So that's how these, and Prabhupada writes in the purport that whenever there is irreligion and people are troubled, then it attracts inauspiciousness for the whole world. And there are some surveys which are made. They say that wherever there is mass slaughter of the animals going on, those places are more prone for earthquakes, because when animals, they are killed, they create a certain type of vibration, and that can even disturb the earth. So that is what is described many times. So, and Prabhupada in the purport, he describes about the importance of Garbhadhan Samskar. Because Diti approached Kashyap at a wrong time and she was not in right consciousness. The result was these two demons. So Prabhupada writes, one should observe the process of Garbhadhan Sanskar to beget nice children, because it is not the problem of overpopulation. Problem is what the population is doing. That is the problem. And what type of population comes depends on the consciousness of the parents while they procreate. So Prabhupada describes about that. So these two powerful demons, they grew very shortly. They became like mountains. And Chakravarti Thakur writes that in spite of the curse of these four Kumaras, they were very, very powerful. Nobody could do anything to them. They were still very, very superior, because ultimately they were associates of Lord himself. And although they started giving troubles to so many of the living entities, but still they did not suffer. They did not suffer hellish, situations, because they were the gatekeepers of Lord himself. And then Prabhupada writes, what is the difference between the Devatas and the demons? Devatas means they are interested in the spiritual upliftment of the human society. And the demons mean they are only concerned with their physical and material upliftment. They are just interested in keeping their body and their surroundings very nice. And they are not concerned with the Supreme Lord. They are not concerned with devotional service. But the devotees, they are only concerned with connecting to the Supreme Lord. So these demons, they became very powerful. They were, as they would walk, entire earth would shake. They would wear all the wonderful ornaments and necklaces. Prabhupada writes, this is a demoniac way of civilization. People of this world who are demoniac, they are just interested in their bodily construction. They have this notion, when I walk, entire world should tremble. That means entire world should notice that I have come. That is a demoniac civilization. And these two demons, they were also like that. So Kashyapa, after 10 days of the birth of these two demons, he gave them names, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So interestingly, who was the elder one? So, the mystery, Prabhupada describes what is that. So the one who was born first, Hiranyaksha was born first. But the one who was first conceived by Diti, he was named as Hiranyakashipu. So who is elder? But interestingly, Hiranyakashipu is always known as the elder person, elder brother. Why? Because the child who is conceived first, who enters the womb first, he is considered elder, although he came out later. Because the one who is conceived first, he comes out later. So from the perspective of Kashyapa Muni, Hiranyakashipu is elder. From the perspective of this Diti, Hiranyaksha is elder. But Chakravarti Thakur writes, because father holds a stronger position, therefore Hiranyakashipu is considered elder brother. So this was Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu, he was so very fearless because he received benediction from Brahmaji. He started controlling all the three worlds. Prabhupada writes in the purport, it was Lord's plan to teach that even a person like Hiranyakashipu, who was so powerful, Saitham nirjit kakub ekarat vishayan priyan yathopajosham bhunjano natripyat ajitendriya. 7th canto describes. Who was Hiranyakashipu? Ekarat. He was the only controller. Vishayan priyan. He wanted to enjoy sense gratification. He was getting it. The best of the wealth, wine, women, everything he was getting. All the devtas would tremble just by raising of eyebrows. He had controlled, he had changed the nature's laws. जो पाप करेगा वो स्वर्ग में जाएगा, जो पुण्य करेगा वो नरक में जाएगा. He had done all that. All the trees would give all the fruits. मतलब नीम के पेड़ पे भी आम आ रहा है. So that was Hiranyakashipu, so powerful. But Krishna wanted to prove that even a person like Hiranyakashipu doesn't survive. There is no possibility of continuing life eternally. Everyone has to die. So Hiranyakashipu was elder. Hiranyaksha, he was a younger brother, and he was a very loyal brother. He started conquering the entire universe. Why? Just to please his brother, just to satisfy his brother. मतलब राक्षसों में भी इतना प्रेम है, गुड फैमिली स्पिरिट है. मेरा भाई के लिए मैं कुछ भी करूंगा. Even demons had that. We seen the story of Aghasur. Why Aghasur wanted to kill Krishna? Because Putana को मार दिया, शक्टासुर को मार दिया, बकासुर को मार दिया. So मेरे भाइयों को मारा, मेरे भाई, so I will kill him. Why Dantavakra wanted to kill Krishna? Because Krishna killed Shishupal, Jarasandh, Rukmi. मेरे friends को मार दिया. So even demons have this sense of family spirit. So that's how Prabhupada writes. The demoniac spirit is to train all family members to exploit the resources of the universe for personal sense gratification. That is their demoniac spirit. I will also do sense gratification. You also do sense gratification. ये तो family business है हमारा. To enjoy. This is the purpose of this life. Beg, borrow, or steal, but enjoy. So Hiranyaksha, he was very angry, and he would wear very, solid gold ornaments. He would have anklets tinkling whenever he would walk, and he would wear a huge garland, gigantic garland, and that's how he was roaming around with a huge mace on his shoulder. And he would not fear anyone. He was completely fearless. That was Hiranyaksha. And when Devatas, they saw Hiranyaksha, they started running away. They hid themselves like snakes. They hide when Garuda comes. That was the position of Devatas by seeing Hiranyaksha. That's how powerful Hiranyaksha was. So Prabhupada writes, Asuras are generally strong-willed, and therefore their mental condition is very sound. Very interesting statement. Because the Asuras are strong-willed, therefore their mental conditions are very sound. So demoniac people, they have strong mind till the time they have strong body. And when the body starts getting disturbed, mental condition also starts getting disturbed. But saintly people, devotees, they are not like this. Even when their bodily condition is not good, their mental condition will be very, very stable, refined. We see the situation of Bhishma Dev on the bed of arrows. There is not even a place to put finger between two arrows. Such painful situation. Still, when Yudhishthira Maharaj approached him, he gave such wonderful knowledge. Entire Bhishma Parva, it is the longest Parva of Mahabharata. Such wonderful knowledge. Even Srila Prabhupada, at the last day of life, in the last months, he was practically a bag of skin and bones. Still, such wonderful consciousness. Na uttama shloka vartanam jushtam tat kathamritam syat sambhramontakaalepi smaratam tat padambujam. Na uttama shloka vartanam jushatam. Anybody who is engaging in devotional service of the Lord, he will never have any confusions, misconceptions, even at the time of death. Syat sambhramo antakalepi na. He will not get confused. That is a devotee. So this personality, Hiranyaksha, was very strong, and therefore he had a strong mind also. So he was searching everywhere. He wanted somebody to fight. इतना हाथ में खुजली है, कोई मिल ही नहीं रहा युद्ध करने के लिए. He was searching everywhere. All the devatas, just by looking at him, they ran, they fled. स्वर्ग लोक में कोई नहीं है, स्वर्ग खाली पड़ा है. All the devatas, Indra, Chandra, everybody is missing. So he started burning with the heat of the strength. इतना अंदर शक्ति है, अभी किधर से शक्ति निकालें, So what he did? He thought, okay, इधर तो ऊपर तो कोई नहीं है. I will find somebody in the Garbhodha ocean. Somebody must be there down. ऊपर तो कोई नहीं दिख रहा है. So he dove into the great ocean. And when he dove, all the aquatics, they started running, fleeing away out of fear. In this way, he was trying to find somebody to fight. He was not able to find anyone. He was moving for many, many years in the waters to find somebody. But he could not find anyone. Then he reached Vibhavari. Vibhavari is the capital of Varuna. वहां पहुंच गए. So now Hiranyaksha, he sees Varuna Dev, and he makes fun of Varuna Dev. He bows down in front of Varuna and he says, "Oh dear Lord, oh King, please give me a battle." First he is very, very humble. आपसे वरदान चाहिए, क्या चाहिए? Please fight with me. So for a demoniac person, his actions, they don't match with their mentality. He's offering obeisances, but what is he wanting? I want to fight with you. No respect. So that is the difference between a Mahatma and Duratma. What is a Mahatma? Manasyaikam, Vachasyaikam, Karmasyaikam Mahatmana. His mana, whatever he thinks, Vacha, whatever he speaks, and Karma, whatever he does. They are all in one line. जो सोचते हैं वही बोलते हैं, वही करते हैं. But who is a Duratma? मनस्य था, वचस्य था, कर्मस्य था, स दुरात्मा. सोचेंगे कुछ, बोलेंगे कुछ और करेंगे कुछ और ही. So that is a duratma. So Hiranyaksha, he was offering obeisances, but internally he wanted to fight with Varuna Dev. So Hiranyakshi says, "Oh Varuna Dev, you are such a great warrior. You have destroyed earlier the pride of all the big fighters, even demons. You had defeated all of them and you had performed this Rajasuya Yagya." So actually, what he's saying, earlier I was not there. That's why you could defeat all these demons and all these people and you could do Rajasuya Yagya. Abhi karke batao. Now you do again Rajasuya Yagya. I'll see if you can do now also. That's what Chakravarti Thakur says. He says, now conquer me and perform another Rajasuya Yagya. Can you do that? So he is indirectly making fun of Varuna Dev. But Varuna Dev, although he was provoked, he controlled his anger. And he used his intelligence and said, well, I have grown too old. Now I have stopped fighting. So Prabhupada writes, war-mongering materialists always create fighting without reason. तो कुछ कारण नहीं है फिर भी झगड़ा. Some days back, some videos are getting circulated how two ladies were fighting in local train. तो क्या fight चल रहा है वो. So many different videos are coming. So people, they get instigated just by some small issues. मतलब fourth seat के लिए भी झगड़ा करते हैं local train का, and they both get down and the train goes and they keep fighting. So that is how the material world is. Keep fighting over small things. हाँ, frustration है, किसी किधर का frustration किधर निकालते हैं. So Varuna, he was not like that because he is a devotee. He understands, why should I spend my time, arguing and fighting with this person? I have to remember Krishna. And that's why when, this that Pandit came to Vrindavan and he was arguing and debating and defeating everyone. He came to Rup Sanatan Goswami and he said, I have heard that you are the biggest of the scholars. I want to debate with you. So what did Rup Goswami say? Oh, well, we are small people staying in Vrindavan. You are a great scholar. How can we debate with you? So he says, oh, so you are accepting defeat? He said, yes. So then you have to sign this. He said, okay, please give me, I'll sign. So very humbly he signed that document. And then he said, he came to know that this Jiva, there is another very powerful emerging scholar in Vrindavan. He is a nephew of Rup Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami. If you defeat him, then you are unconquerable. Then he goes and Jiva Goswami, he tells that, oh, your uncles have signed this, you also sign. Jiva Goswami says, you fool, you don't understand the humility of my uncles. I will defeat you. So 7 days he argued, debated with this person and he defeated him. And then when he went to Rup Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami said that, oh, Gurudev, I have, debated with this person and I have defeated and I have protected your fame. So Rupa Goswami said, why you wasted your time with arguing with all these material persons? You can't stay in Vrindavan. Of course, Jiva Goswami had a very humble attitude. So Rupa Goswami just wanted to teach a lesson. So that we should not spend time arguing unnecessarily or fighting unnecessarily with materialistic people. So that's what Varuna Dev did. He said, I can't fight with you. I am an old man now. So hearing this, Hiranyaksha is thinking, well, how will I be relieved of my desire of fighting? Please tell me. Varuna said, well, you are so skilled, you are so powerful. I do not see anyone apart from the Supreme Personality who can fight with you. Only He can satisfy you in battle. Nobody else can do it. And therefore, in due course of time. So Hiranyaksha, when he hears this, he says, how long it will take to reach him? Kitna time lagega? When he'll come? So he says, very quickly, in 5 days, you will meet the Supreme Lord. 5 दिन में प्रकट होंगे. And then he says, only Supreme Personality of Godhead can satisfy your desire of fighting. But, O Hiranyaksha, be rest assured that you will be killed by that Supreme Personality. You will lie on the ground surrounded by the dogs. इतना बोल के भी समझ नहीं रहा है हिरण्याक्ष को. Still he is, hankering to fight. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that Varunadev, he is saying, you are now afflicted with the sickness of pride. You have that disease. And because of this sickness, you are not able to sleep. Hiranyaksha was not able to sleep because he was not getting anyone to fight. He was roaming around everywhere just to find somebody with whom he can fight. That is a proud person. Proud person. Whatever he gets, he wants to show his prowess more and more and more. ईश्वरोहम अहम भोगी सिद्धोहम बलवान सुखी आढ्यो अभिजनवान अस्मि कौन्यो अस्ति सदृशो मया यक्षे दास्यामि मोदिष्य इत्यज्ञान विमोहिता. So much I have now, I will gain all the more. I have killed this person, I will kill him also. In this way, I will enjoy. अनेक चित्त विभ्रांता मोहजाल समावृता प्रसक्ता काम भोगेषु पतंती नरके अशुचौ. He has so many desires. अनेक चित्त विभ्रांता, मोह का जाल हो जाता है. He is caught up in the network of illusion. As a result of this, he glides down to the hellish situations of life. So Varunadev is saying, you are so very agitated with this desire to fight. Don't worry. Lord will come. Lord will make you sleep. Abhi neend nahi aa rahi hai na? You're not able to sleep. Lord will make you sleep. And you will get a suitable bed. And you will be surrounded by many people who will take care of your limbs. They will be dogs. So that's how Varun Dev tells. So Hiranyaksh tells, okay, if that is so, please tell me the form of the Lord. कौन से रूप में आएंगे? How will I understand? How will I identify him? And Varun Dev says, well, to kill wicked people like you, Lord takes many forms. I know in general, but I do not know in which form Lord will appear to kill you. So nobody knows how Lord will appear in which form. So Prabhupada writes that the demons, they do not know that the material body is consisting of these 5 elements. And when, this material body will fall down, it will become a object of pastimes for dogs and vultures. This material body has 3 destinations. Either it becomes ashes, or stool, or worms. Bhagavatam describes. So if the body is burnt, it becomes ash. And if it is eaten by dogs, it becomes stool of the dog, or vulture, or whatever. And if it is buried, then the insects, they eat and they multiply. So body becomes insect. So that is the worms. So that is the destination of this body. So therefore, here Varunadev is telling, in due course of time, your body will become the playground for the dogs. Just wait for some time. So that is how this chapter ends. So we'll also stop here. It is 7 o'clock now. Anybody has any questions? I think envy. Envy is, I think, Shishupal. Shishupal is envy, right? Yes. Hiranyakashipu is lust. Hiranyaksh is anger. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. Okay. Any other questions?
Last time I had asked you that when Jay and Vijay, they were cursed. Somewhere I had come across it that they were given an option that 3 births as demons or 7 births as devotees.
Yes. Yes.
Is this mentioned?
7 births as devotees, that is not mentioned, but 3 births as demons. So that is there. Lord Chakravarti Thakur writes that Lord himself tells them. So Bhagavatam doesn't mention this. Maybe some other Puran may have mentioned. I have heard this, but I don't know the reference. हाँ वही कृष्णा सीरियल तो उसमें तो बहुत कुछ दिखाते हैं, but I don't know the reference for this. I'll try to find out. Let's see. किसी ने तो बोला रहेगा, कहीं पे नहीं है तो
विष्णु पुराण सीरियल they had mentioned in the titles that they had taken the references from them and they had consulted ISKCON.
कहीं पे भी नहीं मिला ना पद्म स्कंद पुराण बोलने का. कहाँ पे 4 lakh verses ढूंढ लो.
I don't know.
Anyways, so I don't know the reference of this. है क्या? Okay, so I think there are no questions, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.